Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
These are the words from Margaret Mead, and listen carefully to these words, especially if you're, like me, a little gray on top of the head, or maybe all white, and they're very fitting. It is utterly false and cruelly arbitrary to put all the play and the learning into childhood, all the work into middle age, and all the regrets into old age. How true. But I feel great this morning. The sun is shining. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, callers, let's call in. Oh, and away we go on a Thursday. Why am I so happy this morning? Because it's Thursday. I've got tomorrow and 2 other days off. Hey, don't forget Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Great, great folks. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service at 734-6969. And right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to have a detailed description as to why you haven't called in lately. Give me an excuse, quickly.
Have you ever hung wallpaper?
That's all I wanted to hear. Now give me the pledge.
Like in a windstorm? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and I got to run right now, but call back later on. I've got a lot of subjects that are going to just take you into a realm of madness. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you very much. And right now, without further ado, it's time for our weather forecast, brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. And they're offering up to $1,700 rebates on qualifying new home Lennox comfort systems. I got a little ahead of myself there, and they can keep your home feeling perfect on the inside. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 and find out more. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
All right, Zeb, grab out the sunscreen because we are looking at a beautiful day today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Sunny skies, high of 80. We're expecting an overnight low of 50. Winds out of the southeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow, even better, mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit on the breezy side, but a high of 85. Overnight low of 53 for Saturday. Wind's going to be picking up out of the southwest, right around 15 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies. Sunny and 75 is what they're saying. Overnight low of 45. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies. High of 70. Be happy. That's your weather on Zeb at the Ranch.
Did she ever hit a home run with that weather forecast. Thank you very much. Brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Merv May, let's sell some cattle. Come on in here.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 31.
Oh, that is the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. The sale that works for you. Sale time today, 11 o'clock at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call for cattle consignment and sale information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade, Rogge, Lance Udy, all the folks working for you. Today they're going to have, let's see, oh my goodness, got some ripping good cattle coming in here. Bedke Wine Cup Ranches out of Oakley, they're bringing 100 head of 400 to 500 pound calves. Oh, yeah, good ones. And Barry Dalton over to Shoshone. Hello, Barry. 25 head of 800 pound Holstein steers coming into the ring. Ida Gold Dairy at Burley bringing 25 to 30 Holstein steers. P-Bar S Dairy out at Malta, 25 head of good Holstein heifers. And butcher cows from Acme Dairy, TLK Dairy, and Oak Valley Dairy. What are you waiting for? Sale starts at 11 o'clock this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I selling $35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Love that chant. I'll tell you what, he is good. Good, good, good. Good morning, everybody. And yesterday was just a day where it was a personality changer. I have been so sick and tired of the wind, and I've been so sick and tired of maybe having to wear a kind of a nylon jacket outside with a vest with the wind kind of biting through you. You couldn't have had a better day yesterday to change my attitude and get everything in better shape. Wow! Goober and I sat outside by the barn and just sat there and looked at each other and said, let's just do nothing. It was a nice, nice day. Beautiful. Let's not forget our friends that I mentioned a moment ago at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, my goodness sakes. We're going to be talking to Rita a little bit later on this morning. And for all your heating and cooling and electrical needs, it's Ramsey Heating and Electric. They have been serving you for over a half a century. Holy cow. At 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And the number to call, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday, where they always provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. And if you get hungry, like I am now, I could put teeth marks in this microphone. I'm so doggone hungry this morning. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, the best, America's Diner. Wow. They've got a lineup of burgers that hit home runs out of the park every time you sink your grinners into them. And I'll tell you, they're delicious. So stop in at 611 North Overland in Burley or 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. The staff, the menu, everything perfect. You better believe it at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Okay, let's rock and roll. Stephen Colbert. Now, I don't like the man, and I'm not going to pull any punches. I don't think he's a comedian. He came out yesterday and doubled down on his low-class, no-class, filthy rant against Donald Trump, our president. You know what he said? He'd do it again. He'd do it again. Does the left and do the Democrats have any standards? Now think about that for a minute. Do they have any standards? Think about their platform. Think about what they have advocated. Think about what they've tried to promote. Think about where they stand. Think about how they back all of this absolutely repulsive, chaotic movement that's going on in this country with the millennials and the absolute destitute of any brain power, these young people on college campuses. The left is low class or no class. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hello there, buddy.
You know, Stephen Colbert, the network that he works for, asked for an apology. So he said, I'm sorry I did that. that I do it again.
Yeah. Is that an apology?
What is that?
You know, how many times in your life, honestly, even up till current times, have you done something or said something to someone and you felt really, really bad about it, and you went to them and you stuck out your hand and said, you know, I've thought about this and I was completely in the wrong, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd accept my apology. You know what? I can handle that. I've had to do it many, many times on my own. But when you sit there and basically look at a camera lens and say, I'd do it again, I don't like the man, that to me is no apology. That's just inciting more problems.
Well, that's true. There's two ways of looking at it. You're sorry that you did it, or are you sorry you got caught?
Well, when you're on national television with millions and millions of viewership, getting caught is something that maybe you should have thought of before you said it.
That's for sure. Now, if we can get a little bit on the lighter side, I want to send out my sympathies to DM.
Why?
She's in danger now because the temperatures are nice and everything. And when she hears that lawnmower start up, she's really going to be in jeopardy.
Now, let me just...
The roses and all them other beautiful flowers don't have a chance.
Listen, Cottam, you can call anytime you want to, but don't raise my ire when it comes to my lawn mowing capabilities and how I keep my yard and any danger to my wife. Back off, Jack. You're in sacred territory.
Hey, I wonder if next time you're mowing, could I come out and take a video?
Yeah, you can take a video, but be careful. That lawnmower might all of a sudden get out of control and run over the person holding the camera.
Well, you've got other skills that offset that.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm so glad that I have other skills that offset my lawn mowing and my yard keeping abilities. But no, Deanna's fine. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed your call. Now sit down and just have a nice day. Thank you, sir.
Are you going to tell me I need to shut up?
Well, that was an uncouth way of saying it, but have a good day, Keith. Thanks.
You have a good day, my friend.
All right. God bless you, man. I'll have you know that I haven't ran across a flower bed or done anything to any fences, panels, or anything decorative in the yard for quite some time. Anyway, don't forget Berry Equipment and Rental, and they have 3 locations to serve you: South Lincoln in Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They have the equipment to get the job done right, whether you want to rent or whether you want to buy. And don't forget, they've got a huge selection of Bobcat excavators. Why is that hard for me to say? Bobcat excavators. There we go. And you better stop in, too, and check out the Walker mower so you can mow like a pro. 0% interest for 48 months. All of this and so much more at people that really know equipment that you need. Berry Equipment and Rental, South Lincoln, Jerome, Addison Avenue West Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I also want to mention our dear friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. They get there early in the morning, and then they go through their own exercise regime, and they kind of do all the stretching and everything, and they say, now open the doors and let the public in. We're ready for them with all the exercises and the work in the hydrotherapy pool. My goodness, those physical therapy people are good. All you have to do is call 678-1191, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. I have a question for you, and it's not, I'm going to always give credit where credit is due. If I say something originally, I'm going to take the credit for it. I deserve it, or the blame. If someone else has the credit for it, I'm going to give it to them. Unfortunately, I do not recall this person's name. She is a British journalist. She is very conservative. She is very good at what she does. Yesterday, on Tucker Carlson, and it's a question that you, everybody needs to sit and think about and come up with your own answer. She asked the question, why? And I'm paraphrasing, why, if Muslims think and believe they are the superior religion to the world, and they are superior in the way that they live, why would they want to come to Christian-dominated countries like America? Now, you can be sitting there pondering that. Let me assist you. Number one, I have stated on this program for a long time, and then all the liberals in this area, some of the Democrats in Twin Falls and others, I mean, they're laughable. They've come out and they've called me a bigot and a hate monger. But now let's just ponder this question. I'm not going to back up from any question or any circumstance. Caller, stay on the air just a minute. But the reason I think they are coming, and you might say, oh, Zeb, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, maybe I am. But I honestly think that in order to infiltrate and in order to eventually dominate, you have to come to those respective countries. I believe their goal is world domination. But first, you have to have the infiltration. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb, and it is a good morning. I think the answer to the question is we've got so many young people in this country that's easy to bowl over. They know they'll collapse under any kind of pressure, any kind of fears. They won't put up any resistance at all, and the Muslims know this. We're raising a generation of young people who figure that nothing's ever going to happen to this country and let the good times roll. Well, the Muslims have a better solution for their problem.
Yeah.
And that's just to keep on coming, keep the fear going, and the American people will eventually cave in.
Tony, I'm not going to argue with one single thing you said. I believe in that. I've talked to a lot of very knowledgeable people involved in politics and also involved in learning centers, and they have a tendency to agree with your philosophy. Maybe not every word that you said, but very close to the same philosophy. I'm very concerned that we're so naive or even stupid to think that they're coming here to a Christian country. They're not going to adopt to our culture. They can't, according to their religion. They're not going to assimilate to be Americans. They can't, according to their culture and their beliefs of their religion and Islam. I'm very concerned, and it's not just me. When you have a British journalist like this lady last night on television having the nerve to ask that question that should have been asked a long time ago, I admire her for her courage.
Well, I think the city council here in Twin Falls has rolled over and welcomed liberalism, and the problem you're talking about right now is going to get bigger and bigger right here in Twin Falls.
I agree with you, and the Twin Falls City Council and their leadership, in my opinion, is a huge joke, but nobody's laughing. Thank you, Tony. God bless you and Mary. I appreciate it.
Okay, Zeb. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. I couldn't agree more with what Tony said, and I think you have to sit down and really analyze that question. And it's that lady last night, I'm going to get her name, Deanna, if you can find her name. She's looking for it right now, my lovely bride. And she was, and Tucker Carlson, I have to admit, was taken aback by that question to the point where he said, that is a very good question. Think about it, folks. Don't forget Ag Express is looking for drivers, and they're looking for full and part-time position, possibly retired folks, and they'll work around your schedule 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. And you're home every night using new and maintained equipment. They've got great vacation schedules, benefit programs. My goodness sakes, you better call them. Call Dale and Paul at 438-8886, Allen in Twin Falls 731-2495, or Russ in Burley at 431-7175. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express, as I choke to death, is looking for you. Don't forget to Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Hello, Dr. Pickup. How are you? I've got to make an appointment to get back over there and have some things checked. And Dr. Christine Pickup and Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, the number to call, 312-0957. They're across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room and waiting to serve you. Don't forget they're the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho. Deanne, can you turn that sound down a little bit, please? And that's Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. 312-0957. Really, really nice people. All right, your turn. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had a call yesterday afternoon, and I'm not name-dropping. I've known the man for a long, long time. He is a friend. And he's running for the governorship of the state of Idaho, and that's Brad Little. I had a call after he had been on the air, and I thought it was really, really nice of him. I do, to give me a heads up about what's going on, and the press release came out last night, and a lot of people covered it this morning about McCain Foods expanding its frozen French fry operation in Burley, and they're going to be generating more than 180 new jobs in the area and expand its state-of-the-art production with a total investment of $200 million in the local economy. Congratulations to McCain Foods in Burley, and thanks also to our friend Brad Little, Lieutenant Governor, giving me a heads up on this. Called me yesterday personally while he was traveling and told me about this. I appreciate it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi there.
I think that the city of Twin Falls and the surrounding villages need to call a public information meeting, because not that I'm against the Muslim people or their coming to America, but I think that we need to expect them to become Americans if they're going to come here. And if that is not in their DNA, they better stay in the place where they're comfortable.
Can you honestly tell me that of all the refugees that we've heard coming into this country, go ahead and tell me I am wrong, that you've seen, heard, or read about an assimilation program to where they want to maybe adhere to our principles and our heritage and our philosophy and our Constitution? Tell me, go ahead and give me a story about how you've seen how they just want to jump right in and be red, white, and blue Americans.
I haven't heard one yet.
Oh, gee.
And, I do know that there are some who have become national people on some of the networks, and they seem to have accepted the fact that they need to be Americans and go by our rules. But that's not the consensus. That's the very few. And I don't know. Other people who have come to America have come here for freedom and the love of that word, freedom. And you can't be allowing people coming here to take away our freedoms that we've fought and died for.
Yeah, why in the world should we? I'm going to be really calloused about this, and I dare somebody on the left to criticize me over this statement and say that I'm a bigot and a hate monger and that I don't do anything for people. I put a lot of time and effort every year from this program into serving, helping, and providing help to certain causes in this valley. And so I'm not going to be criticized on this. I am sick and tired of looking at a gimme, I want situation from our refugees and illegal aliens coming into this country that expect everything handed to them on a silver platter, and we pay as taxpayers, and they, on the other hand, are not contributing to the success and or the economy. Am I wrong?
No, and I think that the whole idea of America, the freedom, is brought about by everybody putting in their time and effort and their love for this country. And basically, we came here for religious freedom, basically a Christian religious freedom, and it doesn't seem to mesh with the religion of the Middle East. And I guess if they can get along over there, that's where they ought to stay.
Well, here's the funny thing about it. I mean, they're coming in here to the United States. Oh, well, they say, well, they're refugees from Syria and the Middle East, the war-torn Middle East. Hold on a second. Isn't it within their own realm of problem? In other words, whether it's the Shiites or whatever it is, all the fractions of Islam, didn't they create and cause the problem of these wars and all these devastations? And then they want to come here to the United States, a predominantly Christian country, and not adhere to anything that we espouse as values and or religious values or constitutional values. I'm a little concerned about this, my dear friend Chris.
Isn't it amazing that they can't get along with their own kind? And then they're coming to a country that is peaceful and basically a Christian, forgiving, loving people. And yet here we are. We've tried to let them in and accept them, but they don't like the way we live either.
Yeah.
Go home.
And I agree with that. And my lovely bride happened to look up the name of that British journalist that I could not remember her name. Her name is Katie Hopkins, and she was very forthright and very honest about that question that she posed. Chris, I appreciate your calls every day. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Well, I'm all stirred up now.
That a girl. Thank you. Yes. It's a good question, and it's one that everybody should ponder and come up with maybe their own answer or whatever. I've got mine, and I've stated it on my program many times. I don't trust them. Now, I'm going to be called a hate monger and a bigot again. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I have the right of worrying about my environment, my family, my community, and I will continue to do so. I'm not going to fall in lockstep with the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus Council in Twin Falls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. Question you posed. I've taken some time and thought and dwelled on it, in the past. Several generations ago, people didn't have the guts to try and pull what they're pulling now, because that's when World War II vets came home. They knew how to fight, and they weren't afraid to fight for what they honestly believed in. They already dealt with a lot of crap. And as time has gone by, dare I say, the population has got a little bit more weak-minded, some. And as generations pass and college students happen, now we're just ripe for the picking, because people can see how our snowflake attitude of the millennials pose themselves and present themselves as a bunch of pushover crybabies. And a lot of societies, in my opinion, may look at us as just that, as ripe for the picking, ripe to take over, ripe to seize our property, our lands, and take it for themselves without much struggle.
I agree.
And that's what my opinion on that.
I agree. Riley, you're a sharp young man, and I always appreciate your call for your opinions and your viewpoints, and I thank you for chiming in this morning. Have a great weekend, young man. Thank you.
You do the same, sir. sir.
All right, God bless. Got to pay some bills quickly and then take some more calls. I'm really going to tee some people off in a moment with a story because I'm going to be very honest again. And I'm going to lay the words out on the table that need to be used. So stand by. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call Ramsey's today at 678-0459 and find out how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Oh, and don't forget on Tuesdays, we have a segment at 10:06 called Dr. History. Holy man. Everywhere I go, everybody's commenting on Dr. History. They love those Old West stories. Well, Zach and the crew at Minnecasia Sales bring you Dr. History on Tuesdays, and Minnecasia Sales is at 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Number to call, number to remember, 878-2091. All your western windows, your exterior doors, interior doors, carpet, and the beautiful luxury vinyl planking, and they'll help find the contractor to do the installation work. There you go. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Really nice people. Now, I'm not about to back up and be politically correct on words or derivatives of words or meanings. I'm just going to be blunt and tell it like it is. I watched a story on the news last night about Negro students at UC Santa Clara. They took over the administration building. They just walked in and took it over and said they would not leave until their demands were met. You know, the thuggery and the punkish attitude of students today. I'm not going to leave until my demands are met. Well, what are their demands? Some of their asinine demands include that the administration of UC Santa Clara, University of California, Santa Clara, repaint the certain buildings in colors of, listen to this now, in colors of black, green, and red. Those are colors, they state, that are symbol colors for their race. And then their demands are that housing for Negro students be provided for them and paid for them, not Caucasian or anyone else. I want to make that point clear. When asked, this Negro girl, as a spokesman, said, oh, no, it's just for us. Is it for anybody else? No, just for us. So they want to be very segregating in their attitude and very demanding. Can you imagine? Now, come on. I've been by UC Santa Clara College. I know where it is. I've been by it and everything. Nice college down in California, nice university. But, oh no, they are making demands that the administration paint certain buildings black, green, and red. Now, where's the administration? Where is the leadership? Where are the people that are going to walk in the door and say, okay, look, we've had enough of your balderdash. You have upset the climate of work here in this administration building. People can't do the work about going and running this college and this university, so get out, or we will forcibly remove you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, the thing that struck me was she kept saying, like Jamaican, Caribbean islands, you know, and come to the United States, and we're going to college in the United States. Caribbean, Jamaica, whatever, if they're trying to push it because of the slavery that was instilled, forced upon the people from Africa, sorry, you're coming to the United States. We didn't have anything to do with any slavery that might have been in Jamaica.
I'm so glad you called on this because I'm so glad you saw that segment. And I also want to ask you some questions, and you can feel free to criticize me if you wish in my choice of words that I used during this story. I used the word Negro on purpose, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's one of the three classifications of mankind, and that's the way we were taught in high school, grade school, etc. I am not about to remove the word Negro or Caucasian or Mongoloid, the three words that signify the three classifications of mankind, and have thugs and punks demand that universities change the painting on buildings so that it signifies their black Negro race.
Exactly. And you're right. I learned that, there are only three types when they do an autopsy of a skeleton, because there's nothing left there. They can say this was someone of Asian, come out of, and like you said, Mongoloid, Asian, African, or Caucasian, and so...
What? Let me ask you, you sound like a very, very knowledgeable lady, and I'm going to ask you this. What is wrong with making, in the proper terminology that I will always use on this program, the word Negro or Negroid or Caucasoid or Caucasian, Mongoloid, etc.? What's wrong with using words that absolutely amplify and exemplify that race?
There's nothing wrong with it except if you're on the left or it doesn't follow that particular person's agenda.
Yeah. But did you see, what would you do? Honestly, you saw this deal on television, and the absolute kind of a in-your-face attitude from that girl that was the spokesman. We're going to stay here until our demands are met. What was your reaction when you heard her say that?
Well, my first thought was, is this the government sends a taxpayer, subsidized campus? And if it is, I'd say, me personally, hey, your tax money is going to keep you in school, so bye.
You got it. I so much appreciate your thoughts this morning. You call more often. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
God bless. Caller, I'm going to ask you to stay on the line with me just a minute. I got to get this quick word in there. K&R Rental, 256 South 600 west of Hebron. Oh, my goodness sakes. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5:30 at night, Saturdays 7 till 2. They get up early and go to work, serving you with all the tools that you need, all the equipment that you need. My goodness, they've got a wide variety of tools and equipment, such as forklifts all the way to lawnmowers. My goodness sakes, you better call them. They've been in business since 1979. K&R Rental, 256 South 600 west of Hebron. Stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. We have all these hyphenated Americans. I remember when my grandfather came over here, he was called a German American. He was an American.
Yep.
And we just need to stop this. And when they started all of this, it balkanizes our country. And the other comment I wanted to make is, the danger of bringing in these so-called refugees that largely are unvetted. And number one, Islam is a theocracy to conquer the world. It just hides behind a religious facade. All of our politicians got to get that straight, and everybody needs to understand they want to conquer the world. And the talk about bringing in was discussed on Tucker Carlson last night about female mutilation.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that subject. Yeah, I don't even want to get into that subject this morning because it's so heinous, it's so cruel, and it's so absolutely dehumanizing that I have no respect for anyone connected with the Islamic faith or being a Muslim that would adhere to something that is absolutely against civilization.
Well, but this is what we're bringing into this country, and they will not assimilate. there was a good letter in the paper today on that subject.
I've got it, yes.
Anybody like you and I that are against these refugees, immigrants coming in here, we're a bigot. No, we're just trying to protect our culture.
There you go.
And our country and
Yes.
keep it safe and secure, Zeb. And you know it. And I appreciate your fight and everybody else out there that is fighting against this ridiculous idea that we need to bring all these people in here to just put them on welfare, where most of them end up, and they don't want to speak our language. They don't want to accept our American traditions. But the 5 pillars of Islam is taught in our public schools, but you can't teach anything about Christianity. That really should upset most Christians out there and taxpayers.
I agree with you, and I got to get a weather forecast in, Adrian, but everything you said this morning, spot on. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Keep up the fight.
Thank you, and don't forget our friends that are bringing you the weather, and then we'll have more calls. Now, I want to back up for a minute before the weather. I'm going to take 10 seconds and do this. I'm not going to back up on any subject on this program, even with some of the threats, some of the innuendos, the emails, and the terminology. You're a bigot, you're a hate monger. Oh, just whip it on me. Go ahead. But I am going to be one thing. Very honest. Weather forecast brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center at 382 North Overland and Burley, along with Twin Falls Urgent Care at 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue Way in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. Did you know they're giving the sports physicals? They're going to start today, as a matter of fact, and they're only $10, and 100% of that money is going to be donated back to your school's athletic program, so you better stop in today at all 3, and they can help you. And right now, along with Riverview Urgent Care, Twin Falls Urgent Care, and Jerome Urgent Care, here's Gina with the weather.
All right, Zeb, grab out the sunscreen because we are looking at a beautiful day today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Sunny skies, high of 80. We're expecting an overnight low of 50. Winds out of the southeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow, even better, mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit on the breezy side, but a high of 85. Overnight low of 53 for Saturday. Wind's going to be picking up out of the southwest, right around 15 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies. Sunny and 75 is what they're saying. Overnight low of 45. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies. High of 70. Be happy. That's your weather on Zeb at the Rant.
Sunny and 75. Man, I love that. Hey, listen, thanks to the urgent cares. Minor emergency, major care. The doctor will see you now, not in 4 or 5 days, but right now. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The idiocy and incompetency of colleges and universities across our country does not stop with the last story. I was so mad when I heard about Butler University in Indiana that is providing a course in strategies for resistance to President Donald Trump. And you ought to see the picture of the professor in charge of teaching this course. She is a dandy. I don't even know if I want to talk anymore about she. Anyway, this course is going into and teaching this. Listen to this. We are going to be teaching about how this president and this administration are perpetuating, and here we go, perpetrating. There's a word I was trying to get out, forgot the R, but the I's finally found it. Perpetrating sexism, white supremacy, xenophobia, nationalism, nativism, and imperialism. So in other words, this instructor by the name of Ann Savage, and Savage is a good name for the way she looks, they're saying that this course is going to teach all about how this administration and us as supporters of this administration and conservatives, we are promoting sexism, white supremacy, really, I didn't know that. Xenophobia, nationalism. Now, right there, we need to stop the bus, put the brakes on, and just let the motor idle for a second. Nationalism. You're damn right. I'm proud of being a nationalist. I'm proud of being an American. I'm proud of what that flag stands for. I am so proud, and I am so just absolutely down on my knees thanking all the people that gave the blood, sweat, and tears in their lives for this country and for me. And this instructor, and I use the term loosely, is going to teach a class on how to potentially engage in strategies for resistance. Anarchy. Higher learning. That's higher learning at Butler University. Private university in Indiana, where students shell out $36,000 a year in tuition to learn from Professor Ann Savage on how to be negative and how to engage in strategies for resistance. Oh, and I would imagine they'll probably contact Hillary Clinton and Schumer and the rest of them to come speak to the class. Tell them how we can be absolutely chaotic. What a despicable, sickening, anti-American college and university system do we have anyway? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, I got to tell you that I made the comment yesterday on the program about the Kentucky Derby. I am a horse racing fan. I am a Kentucky Derby, and for that matter, Triple Crown racing fan. And I am absolutely sure that, and somebody's calling me on my cell phone right now. How in the world can I take that call on the cell phone? Please wait till the news. I am really looking forward to the Derby on Saturday, and I am pushing for the horse called Patch. Now, this horse is a 40-1 as of the odds of yesterday. The odds probably have changed a little bit. It might be worse, might be a little better. I don't know. This horse is a unique horse because as far as I can remember and find out through my research, I believe it is the first one-eyed horse to run in the Kentucky Derby. Its left eye is gone. It's been removed. And all there is a shallow pit there. Now, you say, well, horse with one eye should be all right. Keep in mind that eye, the left eye, is the eye that is towards the rail. Now, that's got to be quite a handicap right there. And along with a great jockey, this one-eyed horse is in the Kentucky Derby called Patch. So yours truly this morning is coming out with a prediction. And if I'm wrong, so what? I'm pulling for the underdog. All I can say is, Patch, God bless you. Great horse in the big thoroughbred race at the Kentucky Derby this Saturday. Running with one eye. Go get him, Patch. Go get them. Don't forget our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness. Don't forget May 28th through June 3rd. June 3rd? I love some of my faux pas. Is National Tire Safety Week. So be tire smart and be sure and stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Get where you're going this summer safely with the best of tires for your car, your pickup, your SUV from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We're doing the right Nothing matters. I'll tell you what, they've got the greatest in tires, all the tread design, all the sizes. They've got the best in brake service, the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, but above all, like I always say, the best in service. They really, really take care of you. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Today at 1 o'clock, the healthcare vote's going to take place. This should be very, very interesting. The Republicans think they've got a package that is worthy of a vote, and they're going to try to ram it through today. We'll see what happens. At 1 o'clock Eastern, which would be 11 o'clock our time, they are scheduled to have that vote today. Okay? Coming up next hour, we've got the Chamber of Commerce report with Kyla for about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Then we're going to have something new on the program this morning. It's called It's Time to Grow with Tony McCammon from the University of Idaho. Going to be really interesting. 9:30 Rita. We've got all kinds of things coming up over the course of the next couple of hours. We've got Cassia County School Days. We've got our business salute. And then at 10:30, don't miss the Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt. And he's going to be talking about our Second Amendment and what's being done or not being done to protect our Second Amendment. So that's coming up at 10:30. Right now, we're going to get ready to send it to CBS News so they can come in and mess everything up. And Wheels is ready to play a little tune as bumper music as we take 7 minutes and let you enjoy the news. Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be back in just a little bit. Oh, good morning, and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch. There goes the music. Here I am. Good morning and welcome back. Brought to you by, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you and some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is landing ahead, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Wow, with all this great weather coming on, I know a lot of you are thinking about, let's have a family reunion. Let's have a great big wedding outside. Why, let's have hundreds of people. Wait a minute. You better not forget the porta potties. Yep, because Western Waste Services has the potties for your party. They're always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. They are very loyal to the community and the people that they serve. Western Waste Services. Don't forget to get the potty for your party. There you go. Don't forget, too, on Mondays, we have a program called Gardening for Idiots, and it's sponsored by the lovely Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. Oh, she's celebrating 20 years in business, and she's got all your flowers and all the perennials and the hanging baskets and rose bushes for Mother's Day. Better stop in. Vicky's Country Garden in Paul. Program at 9:15 on Monday mornings. Well, we have just a minute, and I'm hurrying. I promise, Kyla, I am hurrying. Don't forget our friends over to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Hayburn. Number to call, 678-1177. And they urge you, dog owners, puppy owners, to bring your dogs in and get them vaccinated for the deadly parvovirus, highly contagious viral infection that can kill. So take your dogs in there, get them vaccinated. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn, 678-1177. Warm hearts for cold noses. I love that. Oh, and to our friends over at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. And they urge you to stop by and check out the facilities. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the very best place. For your loved ones, Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way. Call the number today and find out more. 436-3200 in Rupert. Good morning, Kyle, over at the Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Good morning, Zebel. We are good. We are enjoying this beautiful bluebird day outside.
Why haven't you moved your office desk outside under a tent and enjoy the weather?
You know, I'm thinking about it today. We have got a lot of people that have been outside using the park down here, using the walkways yesterday, and I'm looking at the river right now. It looks like glass, so we should be in a boat right now out on the river instead of being on the air.
Have you ever thought about maybe, do you make friends with all the ducks and everything over there?
Yeah, we try to. I mean, it's just great. It's just a beautiful location. I think we're just so lucky that we have a river that you can pretty much just walk down to and go play on almost, any time when you're not working. And this time of year is so fun just to see finally the snow is melting off, and finally it's spring and things are starting to green up. So
I agree.
I'm excited for summer to get here eventually.
Well, we've only got about 4 minutes, and I've got a whole bunch of things to get in this morning. But what is going on at the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce?
Well, all sorts of stuff. We are getting ready for spring as well. We've got our golf tournament coming up June 21st. But most important, I just want to remind folks who are chamber members, or even if you're not a chamber member and you want to come see what the chamber is all about, we have the second Thursday of every month, so this will be next week, I believe on the 11th, we have our chamber luncheons. So second Thursday of every month, we rotate them back and forth between a location in Cassia County and a location in Minidoka County. And so on May 11th, we are expecting to have Doug Manning, who is the City of Burley Economic Development Director, and he will be talking about what's next for Burley. And you probably saw the big announcement yesterday with the $200 million expansion over at McCain Foods, adding up approximately 180 jobs to our community. So if you'd like to hear some more announcements about that, chamber member or not, if you're not a chamber member, you probably have to pay for your lunch. If you are, it's probably included in your membership. You can just check at the door with us. But we will be over at Maury's Steakhouse at noon on the 11th, and hopefully we'll hear some more things that are coming down the pipe.
I was really excited about that. I kind of had a heads up when Lieutenant Governor Brad Little was here on my program in the studio. And then he called me yesterday and said, yep, done deal. And I think it's great for the community and Burley and everybody in the surrounding area.
Well, and I think it's nice, too, to be able to celebrate. We have so many wonderful businesses that have really made themselves a part of this wonderful community, and they need to be celebrated as well. So we tend to get all excited. We're like, ooh, a new business is coming into town. But let's also try to remember all these businesses that, help us be a part of who we are, and go and patronize those businesses and support those individuals as well.
Absolutely. Real quick, Kyla, what else is coming up in the next couple of weeks with the better weather and the sunshine and the blue sky? What else is there to look forward to?
Well, I'm going to tell you, the calendar is getting really full. I can tell you in a few weeks here, the Minidoka County Historical Society has redone their inside of the building, and they're going to be doing some fun stuff. That will be I believe on May 20th, and they are having a huge open house and ribbon cutting. We're going to cut a ribbon about 2:30. They're located right next to the fairgrounds there in Rupert and the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. But they're doing some neat stuff. So they have asked different families with their brands to come in, and they're actually going to have a branded spot inside the building. And so I'm really looking forward to this one. And again, that is going to be on May 20th. And I would just encourage folks, get on our website, minnetonka.chamber.com. We have a host of events. If you have an event whether you're a chamber member or not, you're welcome to put it on the calendar. There's a really easy step-by-step process that walks you through how to do that. Get on our website, get into the events tab, and then just follow the instructions. It's pretty easy.
All right. What are the numerous numbers to contact the Chamber of Commerce and talk to the lovely people over at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce and find out more?
I would say give us a call at 679-4793. We'll just give you one number. That's going to be the easiest one.
God bless you. Have a great week, Kyla, at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good. Thank you, Zeb. Take care.
Take care. Thank you very much. Hey, don't forget our dear, dear friend Joel Heward, his family, and his staff over at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, number to remember, 436-5636. A family place because they serve families, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. When there's the passing of a loved one, they can help you, and they will help you with all the arrangements. Please call them at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you and your family. Don't forget, too, that Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering rebates up to $1,700 on qualifying new Lennox home comfort systems. You can keep your home feeling like perfect on the inside. And call Ramsey's today at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. My goodness, it's time to grow with University of Idaho Area Extension horticulturist. I got that all in without making a mistake. Tony McCammon, good morning. How are you?
Hold on, sir. He is on the phone for you. My bad.
Once again, Tony, are you there?
I am.
Boy, for a minute there, I didn't know if we were going to get you plugged in or not. Good morning, sir. Tony is, of course, like I just a moment ago, the University of Idaho Area Extension, I should say, horticulturist, and we're starting a brand new program this morning, never been done before, and it's called Time to Grow. Tony, what are we going to do on this 15-minute segment every week?
Oh, I think we'll talk anything gardening. I'd love to hear from your listeners, any questions they might have, and we'll talk landscaping. We'll talk trees and shrubs, fruit trees, vegetable gardens, and that's kind of what I'm thinking we might talk about today, because we should be planting. The forecast looks favorable for planting.
Okay, now the weather looks like it's going to be fantastic all weekend long, and people are going to be going out with their wives, and they're going to say, Martha, where would you like the garden? And she's going to say, over there, and it might be in a pile of rocks. What's the best place to try to put a garden?
Well, the main thing is the amount of sun that you need to grow up many of the vegetables to maturity. The hottest part of your yard, that may be on the south side of your house, especially if you have a white house that's reflecting a lot of light. The south side of your house, or something like a heat sink where you have maybe dark brick or something like that. That's going to be a really heated area that tomatoes thrive in. Most of your Solanaceae family, that's tomatoes and peppers and potatoes. Those plants love lots and lots of heat, and so that's kind of what you're shooting for. If you can find, and you know those rock beds aren't terrible. Yeah, you need a lot more nutrients in those areas, and so you'd have to build up the soil with some compost and some some good topsoil. At least in the planting areas, but those rocks will provide adequate drainage, which is also important in a garden plot. Standing water is never good for a lot of our vegetables.
Hey, let me ask you this, Tony. When you're digging a garden plot, would it be wise, and you, of course, with the University of Idaho, you know all about soil, all about dirt, per se, should it be kind of a recommended procedure they get the soil tested for nutrients so they know what to add or what not to add?
Absolutely. The soil test will give you a really good baseline of where you're at,
and then after about 3 years, you might even test it again. And I recommend doing it every 3 years because you're going to change the soil quite a bit with the different things you're growing. They're going to be pulling nutrients from the soil. And then as you add compost, leaves, grass, clippings, fertilizers, you're going to be changing the chemistry of the soil as well. So it's good to, at least every 3 years, get a new soil sample. They run about $50, but they give you a lot of really good information and your nitrates and how well your soil is holding on to nutrients and releasing those nutrients, water holding capacity, pH, all those things are really, really important in understanding how the soil is working to benefit or to harm your plants.
Now, let me ask you this in regards to fertilizing the garden or the plot and adding nutrients to it. You just don't want to go out in corral number 5 and get a whole big wheelbarrow full of you-know-what and dump it on the garden, do you?
Yeah, you got to be careful about, cured manure, the stuff that's sat in a pile for, 2 or 3 years. That's the good stuff that you could bring in because most of the ammonia is burned off of that. If you smell, some manure and it smells really, really hot, and you can smell the vapors coming off of it, that's going to burn your plants. It's going to kill the root system as well as the tip burning on your plants. It's going to be high in salts and high in ammonia, which is toxic. So you want to make sure that even if you buy compost, that's composted manure with other carbons that have broken down in a compost type setting. If you smell ammonia coming off of your compost, just know that it's not prepared yet. It's not completely gone through its cycles, and that too can cause some damage to your vegetable garden.
Okay, now people
making sure it's been well composted. And even then, you got to be careful about how much you put on. Most of our composts are dairy compost in this area, and they're really high in phosphorus.
Yeah.
And we can, just adding a half an inch, over the entire garden could be too much phosphorus, and that's going to create a chemistry, basically kind of like damming up the chemistry of the soil, so a lot of nutrients will not be able to be taken up into your plants.
Okay.
So you have to. What we're recommending usually with the dairy compost is we only recommend putting down maybe a quarter of an inch, and that's all we recommend each year.
Okay.
And then that's dependent on the soil test. So it goes back to the soil test. If the soil test says you have plenty of nitrates, you have plenty of organic matter, then we don't want to add any more of that.
Okay.
Because we'll start moving into those toxic levels again.
All right. Now let me ask you this question for the first-time gardeners or people that have never had a garden before and they don't know. They don't have to bring in a big John Deere with a 4-bottom plow, do they?
Oh no, and I don't even recommend doing a recreational tilling every year. I think a good tilling, once every 3 or 4 years to help, limit the amount of weeds that you're having to deal with, which is probably the biggest time consumption of any vegetable gardener. It's the weed control. I don't recommend tilling just for tilling's sake every spring or every fall. I recommend maybe a light tilling if you're trying to get rid of some of the weeds, and then maybe a deep tilling when you add the compost in every 3 or 4 years or some of the other organic matter, and you need to get it down deeper. You don't need a lot of really heavy equipment. A hoe, a good hose, and that's about it. That's about all you need.
Okay. Now, do we have anybody that we need to have you thank for our first time, our maiden voyage on It's Time to Grow? I'll give the time back over to you quickly.
Yes, you bet. We have quite a few sponsors that are sponsoring this program. The University of Idaho Twin Falls County Extension Office, the Southern Idaho Horticulture Program, the Master Gardeners, the Mini-Cassia Master Gardener Association, which are doing great things in the Minidoka and Cassia County areas. They have lots of projects. They're offering a diagnostic clinic every Wednesday in Burley at the Extension office, and every Thursday in Rupert at the Extension office. And those diagnostic clinics are for the community. If you have a pest, an insect, a disease, a plant that's just not doing well, indoor or outdoor, let us know. Bring it by. Take a picture and send it to us, and we'll try to get you a good program that'll make you a better gardener. Also, the Magic Valley Master Gardener Association, which is based here in Twin Falls, they've also sponsored this program, as well as Monty's humic acids. They have a great brand, a good product. That speaking of vegetable gardens, it's a great product that basically it's a carbon load, and if you understand anything about chemistry, carbons are really negatively charged, and it pulls all the positive charges, which are your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, iron, zinc, all those macro and micronutrients. It pulls all those nutrients into that carbon, which is water soluble and can move into the plant.
Okay.
And so Monty's has a great product, and I highly recommend it.
All right. Now, I want to also ask you, what would you tell the first-time gardeners? Maybe they've never had a house or a garden plot or acreage where they could put a garden, and they're saying to their wives, I'm going to plant an acre of garden. Would you rather tell them to start slow and small and build in the future years, or what do you tell people?
Yes, I definitely start small. In fact, I'd start in pots. People don't realize how much time they really have for landscaping until they start planting those acres, and then they realize, okay, that was a mistake. And you really should be planting to the amount of food that you're going to be able to can and you're going to be able to use, because no one likes to come out of the church and find a bunch of zucchini in their car. And so we end up giving away so much food, and then a lot of that food we can't give away, and so it just goes to waste. And so start small. Start in even just 100 square feet, or just do some back porch pots, and just grow a small, grow a couple tomato plants and a couple pepper plants, and maybe just start with a salsa garden, something that you could can some salsa this summer. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself, especially if you're a first-time gardener, and move into it slowly, and you'll start giving yourself more time as you see the need for it.
All right. Now, Tony, I'm going to tell everybody that every week at approximately 9:15, right here on this program, we're going to have this program named It's Time to Grow with the University of Idaho horticulturist, Tony McCammon, and our sponsors. I'm going to have you run down a list of all the names quickly before we end the program for this morning. So give credit to all of our sponsors one more time.
All right. So we got Monty's humic acids. We got the Magic Valley Master Gardener Association, the Minnecasia Master Gardener Association, the Twin Falls Extension Office, as well as Southern Idaho Horticulture.
Let me ask you one thing before we go, Tony. Is there, for the listeners out there that say, gee, I don't know that much about gardening, does the University of Idaho have a book or booklets that they can call and find out the information?
Oh, you bet. Yeah, we have lots of publications that we put out, that I put out. We also have classes that we teach. The Master Gardeners will be teaching classes, and I'll definitely, we'll talk about those at some of our programs, but they'll be putting together programs at the local libraries, free programs for the community to come learn a little bit more about gardening. And the Master Gardener program in itself, if you're interested, you don't feel like you have a green thumb, that is not a prerequisite to take my Master Gardener class. The Master Gardener program is an excellent way to kind of get a basic horticulture education. Mm-hmm. And it definitely makes you become a better gardener.
Tony McCammon is a great guy. I've had a chance to visit with him on numerous occasions, and as I said, University of Idaho Area Extension horticulturalist, and he's going to be here every week on Thursdays. Tony, God bless you. Thank you much for It's Time to Grow, and we'll visit with you next Thursday.
Thank you very much, Deb.
All right, take care, my friend. I enjoy him. He's just really open and honest and straightforward about gardening and composting and fruit production. I think you're going to find this segment really interesting with Tony McCammon. Hey, let's not forget our friends at Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes. We're going to have them on the air in a little bit, too. We're going to be talking to Nick or Randy about all that they've got on that showroom floor, the four-wheelers, the side-by-sides, everything. And don't forget, they've got a huge department of accessories that you might want and need when you're up in the hills. So check it out at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Number to call, 436-4771. They're open Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4, and they're waiting to serve you. Let's Ride. My goodness sakes, it's true. Where the fun is sold. Really good folks. We'll be talking to them next hour. And don't forget to our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. My goodness sakes, the professionals. When it comes to life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and much more, with a great, responsive, and dedicated staff serving you. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. That number again, 436-4424. It is Thursday, and I absolutely thank her from the bottom of my heart for everything she does on this program. And we may have a different viewpoint on certain subjects, but we discuss everything. And that's the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Morning. I'm real good. Thank you.
Okay. It's sunny outside, warm temperatures. Doesn't it just make you feel warm and fuzzy and springy?
Actually, yes. That is the good news of the week, is that it's going to be nice today and tomorrow.
I've got to ask you and revert back to last Monday. And I talked to my good friend Dave Bigo about this on Wednesday. The May Day mayhem with these snot-nosed punks that are out there trying to destroy, trying to wreak havoc all across the United States, Portland, L.A., Chicago, the list goes on and on. But what really hit me was what happened in Portland out of the 25 people that were arrested. And I mentioned this on the air the other day. 3 of the 25 were underage and should have been in school. They were 2 17-year-olds and a 14-year-old. And I made the comment that I think the law ought to go after their parents and figure out why these kids were out doing what they were doing during a school day.
Well, that's absolutely right. And the other thing is this is not going to stop. It's just going to keep getting worse until somebody gets under control and starts saying, you know what? We're not going to let you do this kind of thing. We're not going to let you do the things that are destructive. You are going to go to jail if you do that. And if you start enforcing the law instead of them just thinking, well, if enough of us go in there, they can't arrest all of us, so they just have to let us do it, then that's fine. Those people definitely, the underage kids, their parents definitely need to be put on whether it's okay, we're going to put you under a probation thing. The thing of it is that they won't. They haven't been enforcing who's going to be in school and who isn't going to be in school for a long time. And they probably won't start now, and that's just why all of this is going to be just out of control, and it's going to get worse. It's never going to get better until somebody decides to take the reins and say, enough of this. If you're going to protest, you can do it in a peaceful manner, get a permit, go to the city park or wherever it is, and you stay within those boundaries, and you make sure that you have cleanup crews and everything else. I remember when we went back to Washington, D.C., and Glenn Beck was making arrangements for the mall so that the people could come in there, and he not only had to have just a permit to do it, but he had to show that he had money set aside for cleanup and security and everything else, that there would be absolutely no damage or anything like that done before he could do it. And yet you see all of these others that get on and decide they're going to do protests and everything else, and they don't have to do any of that. And my big question is, why do they have to do it for one group of people, like Tea Party people, but they don't for all of the others?
Rita, I don't know if you followed this story last night, but at the University of California at Santa Cruz, Negro students have taken over the administration building, and they were making demands. They were saying they weren't going to leave until their demands were taken care of, such as repainting certain buildings on campus in the colors of black, green, and red, color symbols for Negro students. And then they also said that they wanted free, paid-for housing for them exclusively, not for Caucasians or any other students, but just for them. And then Butler University is offering a course in complete resistance to this government and this administration, and the list goes on and on. What is going on with this anarchy being taught in our universities?
Well, it just goes back to the same thing that I said earlier. Until they start getting this under control, we live in an entitlement society, and this is being taught from the time little kids are little teeny tiny kids. I'm entitled to Head Start. I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to all the free stuff. I'm entitled. And until we get it under control, saying nobody's entitled to anything, there are some safety nets here for those who qualify for it. But this is not just going to be a blanket thing. We're not going to do this. If you want that, maybe you think there's another country that will do better. Get the heck out of here and go find it. Leave us alone. We're not going to provide it. Until they start being challenged on it, nobody's going to think otherwise. It's okay. We can just keep doing it, and that's what they're going to expect. I should be able to get all kinds of free stuff too. I mean, where does it stop?
Well, I think if I were the college head and the main man at the University of California at Santa Cruz, I would go in with all force, whether it's SWAT teams and riot gear or whatever, Billy Cubs, and I would have the face-to-face confrontation with these people. I would give them the option to leave the administrative building in a peaceful fashion or else. They have disrupted all the workers. They have taken over all the work areas. They have disrupted the computer records that have to be kept on a daily basis. They have totally shut down the running of that college, and I would say, okay, you've been here for 8 or 9 hours, time's up, you're out of here. No more excuses. Don't you think we've got to get tough on this?
Well, we absolutely do, and that's what the biggest problem is the governor of their state, Moonbeam Brown.
Yeah.
He isn't going to do anything. And, Mark Levin took a lot of heat for this when it was happening at a different place on a different campus. I think it was at Berkeley a few weeks back, when he said, if the governor had any fortitude and leadership abilities, he would federalize the National Guard and send them in to take control over it and say, you're not going to do this to our state institutions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what that is a state institution. The governor ought to be the one who is saying, we're not going to put up with this, but instead they just keep hear no evil, see no evil, and they're not doing anything. They're not paying attention to it, and they're not trying to take control and get it under control.
They are allowing these absolute radicals to go in and have a breeding of contempt against authority or any organization on any college campus today anywhere in the United States. And quite frankly, I think that the billy clubs, like I said, should come out, handcuffs should be put on, and end this before these people are allowed to disrupt our entire society.
Absolutely. That's the way that you get it under control. And I know I've referred to this many, many times, but if you bring it right back down to home, in the way that you would solve issues that you had in your family. You would tell that spoiled, rotten little teenager, no, you're not going to do it, and you can't do this, and until you do thus and thus and thus, you have no more privileges when you're in this house. And if you want to go out, then fine. It's the same with them. They should have rules and restrictions, and if you break the rules, guess what? You go to the big house.
Amen. Amen. Let's change gears for a minute. And I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination. And I've been to a couple of rodeos and a hog calling contest, I guess. And what I heard from Stephen Colbert the other night on his program, and then I have the transcript right here of what he said. Television, late-night television, is absolutely an abhorrent pit of snakes. It's not funny. It's absolutely a leftist, try to overthrow everything attitude. Stephen Colbert should have been fired for what he said about the presidency. Your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. How many people have lost their jobs, even in sports, by just saying one little thing that wasn't even close to what Colbert said?
Absolutely.
That was just absolutely uncalled for. He should have been immediately pulled right off of his high horse and said, you know what, if you're going to do that kind of thing, you violated your contract. You're done, buddy.
Yes.
You're done.
But the filth of the words on national television. And last night, Rita, I sat there and I watched television, and I watched an interview with a black Democratic strategist, a woman, and she thought it was hilarious. Has the left lost their mind and their decency?
Well, they have the very biggest problem about the left is that it's okay if it's for our good, but if it's for somebody else or something else, then no, we can't do that. That's just nothing we're going to deal with. And so they just think it's okay no matter how bad it is. It's just like Feinstein in the hearings and stuff talking to Comey. You know, well, what about Hillary? And you brought up that investigation just a few weeks before the elections. Don't you think that you're maybe responsible for some of that happening and this and that and the other? And when he started telling of all of the things that had happened and why he was concerned about it, she didn't even act like it even mattered about any of the concerns, and those concerns were real concerns. She didn't even care. It's like, well, no, this is for the good of the this is for the good of the Democratic Party, so I don't really care that there was things being compromised and people didn't have clearances and that type of thing. They, as long as it's for their good of their agenda, that's fine. They'll just look at past anything else. And that's what's happening with these people who think that it's okay that Colbert said that. Is like, no, this isn't decent. It shouldn't be on. The FCC ought to be after them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned the Comey hearing with the senators. You may not agree with me on this subject, but I sat there and I watched the senators and the questioning of Comey, and one thing became blatantly clear to me, that senators, like you already mentioned, like Feinstein, and especially Senator Leahy, they should go home, put a blanket over their lap, and just rock on the porch. This man is so senile and so out of touch and so absolutely blatantly stupid, he should not be at a Senate hearing.
Well, it should. And, the thing of it is that, and this is the part that just should make every one of us just madder than heck, is that we've got this kind of people making laws and being the leadership of this country.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Congress or the Senate, it is absolutely ridiculous that people that don't have a brain in their head for common sense are the ones that we've got in Washington making laws.
You know, they were asking questions, and Leahy, he had a hard time trying to phrase his sentences. He had a hard time to grasp for his words. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think that the man is mentally sharp. I don't think that he's mentally capable. I don't think that he has all of his faculties to really be a senator on the national level. And I'm an advocate more so now than ever for term limits.
Well, absolutely. And you know what? We're not going to have term limits until we have some changes in the laws. And everybody that's opposed to the Article 5 convention can just scream and holler all they want, but unless you have term limits, and the Senate and Congress aren't going to do it, the states are going to have to do it, you just won't have any changes. And the other thing is if we had the 17th Amendment out of the way, we would not have this kind of stuff in the Senate bothering us, because the Senate would answer to our individual states and their legislative boards, and they would say, you know what, Leahy, it's time for you to go home and spend time with your family. We're going to appoint somebody else to do this. So, you know, people can get all mad and huffy and everything else and say, oh, they're going to take over our Constitution if the states can convene together and have a convention, and it's not a constitutional convention. What? It's a convention of the states. They've done it for years and years and years. Come in and say, we're going to have term limits, and we're going to get rid of the 17th Amendment. That's all they would have to do, and this would be all cleaned up.
You know, and then I got to be honest with you, I watched FBI Director James Comey himself. Now, he acted like a little girl. Some of his verbiage was not manly whatsoever, or representative of the FBI. And he said, well, the way things went, it made me absolutely nauseous and everything. Oh, give me a break. He is an investigator, not a reporter, and he needs to stick to the facts that the FBI found out.
Well, he not only said nauseous, he said mildly nauseous.
Oh, I know it.
Oh, my heavens. What's that, a tummy ache?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to continue on in our Pepto-Bismol segment here.
It's just ridiculous that you don't have somebody that can lead and say, you know what? The law enforcement of this country, of which I'm a part of because I'm the FBI director, is not political. The law is
That's
the law.
Right. That's right.
Loretta Lynch left me some questions on whether or not she would enforce it, of which he said, he didn't say her name or anything else. He said, it kind of made me just wonder if my boss, actually is what he was saying, if my boss was going to enforce the law or let me enforce the law, it should be reminded with all of those people, and he should have reminded the American public that it is not political, and it doesn't matter who's what. If it's the law, period.
I agree. We've got to get a weather forecast on here, and the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. These folks are good. These folks are the professionals. When it comes to tax return preparation, tax planning, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more, as they have two local locations to serve you at 1710 Overland in Burley and 620 Fifth Street in Rupert. Don't forget the professionals working and serving you, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
All right, Zeb, grab out the sunscreen because we are looking at a beautiful day today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Sunny skies, high of 80. We're expecting an overnight low of 50. Winds out of the southeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow, even better, mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit on the breezy side, but a high of 85. Overnight low of 53 for Saturday. Wind's going to be picking up out of the southwest, right around 15 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies. Sunny and 75 is what they're saying. Overnight low of 45. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies. High of 70. Be happy. That's your weather on Zip at the Rant.
Wow, what a forecast. Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. I know these people. That's who I go to. You should too. With locations in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company CPAs serving you. Rita, today at 1 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock our time, supposedly the Republicans have enough votes to slide the health care through. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that if they want to slide it through, it needs to be we're just getting rid of it, and everybody's on their own instead of us meddling in it. I'm so sick and tired of them acting like they're going to have something. They're not. There's not going to be anything. It's not going to be a plus for us. The vice president can get up there and say, oh, yeah, this is the beginning of the end of Obamacare. That's bull crap. They're not doing anything. They might make a couple of changes, but the changes are not going to be significant enough. They have got the American people, and when I say they, I'm talking about politicians in Washington, even the states, have got people thinking that they need to be dependent on Uncle Government.
I agree.
For their health care. We need to deal with it individually. People who need help can go to the states, and there needs to be some way for the states to say, okay, we will help you get some kind of a policy so that you can be covered if your insurance people won't cover you, and just let people do things on their own, let them find their own policies, let them buy across lines. This business of making any changes is not going to change one iota.
Well, I think it is going to change more than one iota, and I'll tell you what it is. It's going to create more of a dependency on the government to the point where if this system fails, then, of course, looming around the corner is the single-payer system. But I am exactly like you on this. I do not want to be all things to all people. I don't want to have to pay all things for all people. What I can afford to buy, I will buy on my own for the protection of my family and myself. And if the government really is bent on helping with a healthcare system, why didn't they devise a plan that would entirely circle of wagons for the people, the 30 million that were without insurance, and devise a plan for them and leave the rest of us the heck alone with a good coordinated effort to stimulate interstate sales of insurance?
That's exactly what they should have done, and if they would go by the Constitution, incidentally, they don't go by anymore. If they would go by the Constitution, they would find out that the federal government has no business doing this. They're supposed to protect us and deal with the stuff abroad and let the states deal with their own stuff, and the states could deal with it if the people voted that that's what they wanted. But no, we've got to have the federal government in charge of everything.
I agree.
They just keep going on. We're in a socialist country already, and we just don't realize it.
I agree. We have a caller with a question. Caller, I need to be very short. I'm almost out of time. Go ahead.
Not a problem, thank you. I'm just curious what your guys' take on the fact that anybody that works pays into a Medicare system and those systems that are failed systems anyway. What do we do about that? I mean, we kind of are a socialistic system because every one of us are paying into Medicare and none of us are getting benefits out of it.
All right. Rita, I'll have Rita answer that over the air. Rita, please, go ahead and respond.
And that's another thing that's really against the Constitution is you shouldn't have to pay for any of it.
That's right.
If people want to have it, they can pay for it. I shouldn't be having to have a certain amount of it taken out of my paycheck for the last 45 years since I got out of high school. It's just ridiculous, and there's lots of people who paid into it, knowing, okay, I'm going to get this and that and the other. Those of us that have been paying into it probably aren't going to see it, and the place is going to be really bad is when the people who are in their 40s right now find out here in a few years, well, you just paid into this for 20 years and you're not going to get a thing out of it because it's going to collapse. I just know it is. It's ridiculous. They're not going by the law, but we do not have lawmakers that will use any common sense. We don't have governors that will say, the state's going to be in charge of this, leave us alone, and that type of thing. And that's what's got to happen is the governors of the states have got to realize their authority and tell the federal government, get the heck out of our face, leave us alone.
Rita, this healthcare issue, and again, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but it's kind of like a football team. All the players suit up in the locker room, and one player out of 11 on that football team, he puts on the wrong jersey. He's got the traveling jersey on instead of the home uniform. You don't make the whole team change their uniforms. And that's what's going on in healthcare. Those of us that had health insurance across the nation, they are trying to revamp, rewrite, and restructure our health insurance programs, and that's wrong. Leave us the heck alone and figure out if you want to do anything for those that don't have any and devise their plan.
That's absolutely right, and it is not the federal government's job to do any of that. The states or the individual counties even can take care of the kinds of things that need to be done for their people individually. But when you have a one-size-fits-all, you're just saying you're not smart enough to be in charge of your own life. We're going to be in charge of it for you. And the thing that's really sad is there's enough people out there that think, well, it's better when the government's in charge, so I'll just go ahead and I'll be okay with that because I might get a bunch of free stuff instead of having to make decisions and do things on my own.
I wish we had more time. I've only got 30 seconds. Can you tell me real quick what's going on at the Tea Party, and then I've got to wrap it up.
We have a meeting a week from tonight at the City of Burley, and I would encourage people to show up and talk about some of the issues, because unless our voices are pooled together, we're not going to have any kind of a voice, and people will hear it.
All right. Rita Ramsey, always a pleasure to have you on Thursdays. Thank you, Rita. God bless.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness sakes, enjoyed that conversation. And I look forward to having Rita on the program every Thursday. But right now, just kind of move closer to the radio. Close your eyes. And if you're hungry and starving to death, oh, do I know some great places to go eat. How about the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, they've got shrimp and fries, and they've got fish and chips, and they've got chicken fried steak sandwiches, and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, they've got so much over there on their menu to offer you when you're hungry. And right now, remember, stop into the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. How about let's move over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness. The pork burritos with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely fantabulous. And then you got to stop in the morning and have one of those breakfast burritos. What a great way to start the day right at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And don't forget burgers, etc. Oh, my goodness, 124 South Oneida and 700 Overland in Burley. 2 locations. And they've got corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents after 3 o'clock. Oh, my goodness. All the delicious burgers. And, of course, they've got all the French fries and the onion rings. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. Ooh, and coming soon, fresh strawberry shakes. Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's head on over now, to Steve-O's at 290 South 600 west of Hayburn. Oh, yeah, they got a new salad. They call it the Chaos Salad. Ooh, chicken breast with bacon, pickles, and jalapeno peppers. It's delicious, the Chaos Salad. And the buffalo burgers and a soup every day, different flavor. Friendly people waiting to serve you. And on May 12th, D.L. Evans employees will take over the duties at Steve-O's except for the cooking, and all the tips will go to the Relay for Life at Steve-O's, 290 South 600 west of Hayburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza. Oh, good pizza. Graduation time is near, and Doc's Pizza is the place to go for the celebration. Plan your party at 514 6th Street in Rupert, right on the square. And check out the great Friday and Saturday before Mother's Day specials. Oh, my goodness, great food. Super pizza at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Right now, we're going to take a little break and send it back over to the main studios for CBS News. Then we'll be back with more on Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. I love the drums in that music. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service, 734-6969. Oh, we got a lot of things to talk about here real quick. First and foremost, I want to remind you about Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, number to remember, 436-3200. It is the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area. And they support the local businesses. Most of their produce is purchased from Stokes locally, and they really support local business. And they urge you to visit the facility anytime for tours and just check them out. And they make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place for their residents. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Oh, and I've got to remind you about this. Coming up next week on May 11th, the Historical Society of Albion is going to hold its annual meeting at 7 p.m. The meeting is going to be held in the Deb Mark building across the street from the History Center with refreshments and a tour of the center to follow. And it's free to the public, and their guest speaker is going to be the one, the only Dr. History, Dr. Ken Turner. So it should be a lot of fun on May 11th. Excuse me for the hay fever cough. I apologize. Hey, don't forget Mother's Day's coming up on May 14th, and don't forget the Goodie Shop at 133 West Main in Burley. The number to remember, the number to call, 647-0106, 647-0106, and make up a goodie basket for Mom, or a goodie mug for Mother's Day. Oh, delicious. All kinds of goodies inside. You get a hold of the Goodie Shop today. Wishing your mom a happy Mother's Day, 647-0106. And the Drift Inn at 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness, they're going to say, what a great Mother's Day. If you stop over on Mother's Day, make a reservation and treat her to prime rib or finger steaks or shrimp or chicken cordon bleu. Oh, it's delicious. Always is at the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. And last but not least, this gentleman absolutely wants to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And that's from Doug at Doug's Alternator and Starter Service, 635 21st Street in Hayburn. Get your alternators and starter work done right now. And he said he can take care of you and fix you up. Get your work in there as quick as you can, and Doug will take care of anything that needs fixing up. And he wants to wish all the moms a very happy Mother's Day. Doug's Alternator and Starter Service, along with the Drift Inn and the Goodie Shop. Happy Mother's Day. In just a moment, we're going to have our segment, Cassia County School Days, but we certainly want to thank our sponsors for that segment, and they are A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they've got all the spring dresses in, 22 styles of spring dresses, and you can save up to 20%. Oh, my goodness, and all the gift wrapping is free, and they've got all the items for the babies, the furniture, the clothing, everything at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center for your outpatient surgeries at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, 677-8888, and they provide the life-saving colonoscopies and, of course, all different surgeries, glaucoma surgery, cataract surgery. Call them today, 677-8888, Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. With us this morning is the counselor at Burley Junior High School, and I say good morning to Lisa Castaneda. How are you? Lisa, I can barely hear you. Wheels, turn her up so that we can make sure we hear all of her nice voice on our program. Lisa, as the counselor of Burley Junior High, what are you going to talk about this morning?
Well, I was asked to, I believe, speak a little bit about how we are kind of trying to boost emotional skills, emotional intelligence of our students, and the benefits of that for their overall achievement as students here and in life.
Okay, now, Lisa, I'm going to ask some questions. Some may be very naive regarding the subject, but bear with me. Emotional needs of the students. I guess what I would say at this point is that I'm an old man, and I look back on my school career, and I feel the kids back in my day were tougher emotionally and physically than they are today. What do you think when you hear the terminology snowflake millennials? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think, yeah, definitely the demographics of students that we have nowadays has changed quite a bit. You know, there's different reasons as to why. Obviously, the world has changed a lot with technology and such. We do have a student population that is less patient than ever, kind of knows how to get things done now, kind of used to tech providing things instantaneously. So yeah, just totally, as far as, you know, there's so many things that go with that, too, that are just affecting all areas of their life.
Let me say this then, Lisa. When you have your office doors open in the morning at school, what kinds of problems, what kind of self-esteem and self-confidence issues do you talk to students about on a daily basis? I mean, give us some examples.
Well, I think, you know, students at this level, adolescents in general, they don't understand exactly, you know, how their mind works, and how the brain kind of is under construction right now during adolescence, and so things to them feel like a really big deal, and it's all about perspective. So we kind of try and meet them where they're at, and I try to, you know, just educate them on why they feel these feelings and what it's all about, and we work really hard to work on coping and, you know, learning how to think through things and basic social skills, basic, you know, emotional awareness is important nowadays. I think sometimes they just don't have the vocabulary or the understanding of why they act or feel the way they do.
Okay, but why? Why? What's the stem of the problem, the root of the problem? Is it because of less parental guidance at home, or what's the reason?
Well, you know, we can blame a lot of things. I think our but really it's just, like I said, our society, our world has changed. We're very, you know, more into technology than ever, less human connection. Even though we feel like we can be connected more online, we're actually more in isolation than ever before, the research has shown. Again, this millennial generation is not very good at empathy, for that matter of fact. You know, I mean, the basic things, human interaction. If you get a group of teenagers together, they're still all on their phones. It's rather interesting. And adults, likewise, almost everybody has tech now, and so yeah, a lot of human contact is going away. And it can be, we don't know the effects of that long term, but from what we see now, you know, cell phones, technology, media, screens in general stimulate the brain such that we can't compete with that, you know, and so it's just something we're just going to have to kind of see what happens from here on out. But really, we need those times to connect. We need those times to talk to our kids, just really try and understand where they're coming from. Those human interaction times are so critical, especially with growing kids who, you know, kind of bombard their brains with artificial, you know, stimulus. So we have to just be more connected than ever, human-wise, talking more to each other and really making it a point to put our tech away and just connect and work through, you know, what we're feeling, what's going on in our world.
I agree with everything you said, Lisa, but I'm also going to say this, and if somebody's offended by it, I couldn't care less. I think that we have opened up a pit of snakes in our society by allowing technology and technocracy to take over, rule, and govern our lives, not just adults, but also kids like you mentioned. And I think absolutely I'd like to see it passed that the minute you get on school property, you dump your cell phone into a bucket. You don't get it back until you go home at night on the bus or walk home. And if parents want to call the school and leave you a message, they can call the school office like they did in my day. Am I too harsh?
No, no. In fact, a lot of our schools, have those rules in place because we do understand the distraction that comes from these devices. No, I think that we have to set the limits and boundaries as adults. Children need that. We need to understand that what a child wants is not necessarily what's good for them. And I think that's a big factor for this generation. Something they need to learn as well, and parents need to learn and remind them of. I will do what's good for you, not always what you want.
Absolutely. Now, one of the subjects that is taking stage center today is the bullying aspect. Now, Lisa, I think you've been on the program before and we've talked about this, and I'm a little hardcore about bullying issues that I think kids in general, and I'll say as much as 85 to 90% of the time, need to solve this on their own without having all kinds of parents and teachers and regulatory type things going on at school. But is this really a problem that is growing every day in the school systems?
Well, if not addressed, yes. I know in our district we work really hard to address the issue, kind of really take an upstream approach and prevent a lot of it through, providing kind of foundational frameworks, school climate, just bigger measures that kind of prevent a lot of it. But yes, if not addressed, again, children aren't learning the social skills. Again, that's a piece of emotional intelligence. That we assume that they come with these skills, and they're just not lately. So we need to teach those things and address them. Because if not, children will do what they do and what they learn, and unfortunately, they're turning to some pretty negative input from movies, videos. In our day we could see graphic stuff and see it once and it's gone. Nowadays the kids can replay it and replay it and replay it and pass it along. And so it's just we have to counterbalance that and take measures, of course, to prevent it.
If you could be the president for a day, and you could wave a magic wand, and everything would be the way you want for that 24-hour period. When it comes to counseling kids and kids with problems, and of course the technocracy that we have available today, and all the other emotional problems that our society causes today, what would you change?
Oh boy, I think I just have to go to that human connection. Just we have to put down our devices and connect with each other. Just listen to each other. All those basic human needs. We need to be there for one another. As a parent, we get busy. I'm a parent. I have 3 children. I need that time with them to get in their world, find out how they're doing, and that works wonders. Even 20 minutes of quality time with each child is precious and unfortunately lacking in a lot of our kiddos. So I would kind of maybe demand that.
Yeah. I would add something to your waving the scepter, and I'm going to throw this at you, and I want to see how you'd respond. I think we as parents, we as school leadership, we as societies and communities need to say one simple 2-letter word: no. No, and mean it. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and explain the no, yes.
Okay. Lisa, I really appreciate what you're doing as a counselor over at Burley Junior High, and I know you've been on the program before, and I want to ask you to come back because I got a lot more questions. I just flat ran out of time, but thank you for being on the program this morning, and I wish you, as we're at the tail end of the school year, I wish you a great summer and come back again.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Lisa Castaneda, counselor at Burley Junior High. A very, very nice lady, and I've enjoyed having her on the program. Thank you very, very much. Hey, by the way, don't forget Kelly's Bearing Supply. I love this slogan. You'll know where you're at when you get your bearings at Kelly's. That's right. Stop in and see the staff, Zach and Brett. Don't forget to say hi to Alex. And I'll guarantee you they keep everything on hand so you don't have to waste your time or money in downtime. They've got all the bearings, the chains, the brackets, everything at Kelly's Bearing Supply, 1407 East Main in Burley. The number to call, 678-9398. They are the bearing specialists. There you go. While we have just a moment, too, I want to remind you about Ag Express. Yes, Ag Express is looking for drivers. Oh, my goodness, yes. They're looking for full and part-time positions, and they're looking for retired folks. You can have them work around your schedule, 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. And you're home every night, and you're driving new and maintained equipment. They've got great vacation schedules and benefit programs. Woo, you better not wait a minute. You better call Dale and Paul at 438-8886, Alan in Twin Falls at 731-2495, or Russ in Burley at 431-7175. It's true, Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Get a hold of them today. Right now, we're going to get on the phone line, and we're going to jump over to a place that I really enjoy, and I'm always so thankful that old Nick over there talked me into buying some four-wheelers about 5 years ago. I've never had so doggone much fun. Let's go to Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 in Rupert. What are you clearing your voice for? You got to get him on the phone.
Give me 1 second, sir.
All right, hurry up. Let's go. And Let's Ride, of course, open Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays 9 to 4. And do we have them on the line?
I just talked to the lady at the front desk, and Nick is actually, I believe, has a customer, or Randy has a customer, and then Nick is in a meeting.
Well, they better have some. Call the lady back and keep her on line. Put the lady on the line. We'll talk to somebody over there.
Alrighty.
All right, thank you. Quickly. And we're going to be visiting with Let's Ride in just a moment and find out more about what's going on over at their store and all the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides, everything. And so Wheels is going to try to get them back on the line. Yes, go ahead.
She is on the phone for you.
All right, who am I talking to?
Gaylan.
Gaylan, don't you dare put me off. How are you today?
I'm good.
All right. Well, now, this is a busy, busy time of the year over at Let's Ride, and I've been telling everybody that when they walk in the front door of the showroom, woo, you've got everything. Tell us a little bit about your inventory over there.
Well, we always have a ton of inventory, every brand here that we carry, so I would love to see some of it go out the door.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the first-timers that have never had the outdoor fun of being on a four-wheeler or a side-by-side, give us some examples of what's there.
Right now, it's a great time. We got UTVs that have some pretty good discounts on them side by side, so you and your dog and whoever else you want to load in there can go for a nice ride in the hills and enjoy the warmer weather if we can keep it around. ATVs, we got street bikes, we've got watercraft. Hopefully summer will be coming and you'll want some relief from the heat. It's great to get out on a personal watercraft and get some water.
Absolutely. And, you know, the amazing thing is you've got such knowledgeable people over there. And one thing I'd like to mention is talk a little bit about the accessory department. If you're going to get into this, you better get the accessories, too.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of people who, you know, will come in and buy this side-by-side, and then you need a roof, you know, you need some lights, you need some mirrors, whatever you need, they try to keep it on hand, and if not, we can get it for you. So radio systems, they put all kinds of stuff in there. We also carry, for the watercraft, we have, the jackets and the fire extinguishers, the flags, everything you need for that kind of stuff. So we've got it all.
Galen,
check it out.
Galen, let me ask you this question. I bought my four-wheelers from you about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was talking to somebody the other night. When you talk about year by year by year, do they change quite a bit in the manufacturing or the design or the engines? Are they subject to quite a bit of change?
Yeah, they are. Some of the stuff especially, I know Can-Am, our Can-Am line, it changes a lot. They are trying to, and this is a company goal for them, that they are trying to come out with a new off-road model every 6 months. So that's quite a quick turnaround. They're getting different models, different suspension, different engines, different horsepower all the time. So it's never too soon, I guess, to update.
Is the popularity in the trail machines, the ATVs, the side-by-sides, everything, is it still as popular as it once was?
I think so, yeah. We still sell ATVs for recreation. We do see a huge boom in the side-by-side market. A lot of people have gone to that just because it's a little easier to haul your family, your friends with you. Instead of everybody having to have their own machine. So it's been really nice for that. So that definitely has increased in popularity, but the ATVs are still there, and there's still quite a few people who ride those on a weekly, I guess, weekend.
And I've been stressing on my program every day that if they haven't taken their machines in yet to be serviced, the ones that they have at home, they'd better do so before they head for the hills. You folks have got an excellent service department.
Yes, we do. We've got 4 techs back there, and right now we're still on a great schedule. If you wait too long, we seem to get a little farther out. So right now they're still keeping up with the work that they've got.
Okay, now what are the hours of Let's Ride as we head into the spring and summer?
We are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then on Saturdays we're open from 9 until 4.
Okay, and it's easy to find right at 270 Highway 24. Any landmarks they should look for?
I always tell people we're just north of the wayside between Hayburn and Rupert, right on the highway on the right-hand side. So.
You know what? You did a better job than Nick and Randy anyway. Thank you, Galen, over at Let's Ride. God bless you.
Well, thanks, Zeb.
All right, take care. Thank you. Let's Ride where the fun is sold. I love those people over there. They've been really, really good to us, and we appreciate them. Let's Ride. Let's see, what else have I got cooking here right now that I need to tell you. I think we're caught up, and what we're going to do is send this back over to our main studios in just a second, and then at 10:32 this morning, we're going to have Larry Pratt with the Gun Owners of America. Wheels, take it away, buddy. It's up to you.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
One of the things that I have never been able to squash is my feeling that our rights and our freedoms still are challenged, even after this last election. And there's a great movement in this country to try to take away some of those rights and freedoms, including our Second Amendment. That's why I am very, very interested and thankful that I've got this gentleman on my program for this half hour, and he is the Executive Director of the Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt. Good morning, Larry. How are you?
Give me one moment, sir. I ended up calling him, and he wanted me to call him on his landline.
All right, hurry and get that in. And we're going to have him on the phone momentarily, so stand by. He is the illegal immigration analyst and executive director of Gun Owners of America, and we've had him on our program about a year ago or so, and we're looking forward to having him back on the show here this morning, not only to talk about illegal immigration, but also gun ownership and some problems with a major influx of gang members from MS-13 here in America. Is he ready to go?
The secretary is trying to connect me to him, sir.
All right, thank you. A little bit of a problem, but we'll try to get that through momentarily. And once again, we want to remind you, we're going to have our weather forecast here in just a few minutes with Scarrows Meats over in Jerome, and a weather forecast that sounds like it's going to be absolutely phenomenal for the entirety of the weekend. Is he ready, Wheels?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to the Executive Director of Gun Owners of America, a man that's been on my program in the past, Larry Pratt. Good morning, sir.
And good morning to you, Zeb. Good to be with you.
Larry, I said when I opened it up a moment ago, and you weren't on the line yet, but I want to repeat it for your edification. I still have feelings of great doubt and security about gun ownership in this country and some insidious groups and movements that are still going to try to do away with our Second Amendment. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't think the opposition knows the word quit. That's one of the, maybe the only thing I admire about them is that no matter how much they have lost, they continue to keep coming back. And if they can find any opportunity to advance their position, they're going to do it. They continue to try to convince people that having a gun for personal protection is too dangerous, more dangerous than if you just call 9/11. Well, when we look at the data that we have, we realize that it may take 9/11 on a good day 5 minutes to get to you. More likely it'll be 10 or more. And what do you do in the meantime while you're waiting for them? Which, by the way, is the very question posed by Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County in a public service announcement. Said, my men will be there as quickly as possible, but what are you going to do while you're waiting for them? Can I count on you?
Well, the liberal left has absolutely...
That's something that the disarmament crowd likes to hear. But in fact, people who are able to defend themselves turn up to be much better off than those who offer no resistance. And that comes from federal government data, the Bureau of Justice Statistics, that found that you're several times better off if you can offer resistance than if you just say, okay, never mind, take what you want.
Yeah. Larry, you know as well as I do that a lot of those statistics that you just quoted on time, et cetera, to arrive and serve the public are within an urban setting or a town setting. That discounts everything in a rural area like myself, and I, for one, am not going to put my family at risk. I'm not going to put my property at risk. I'm not going to put my life at risk. Calling 911 and maybe 30 minutes at best, 45 minutes to an hour, probably on the better set, of waiting for help to come when I'm going to have a gun in my hand to protect myself.
No question about it. And whether you are in the rural setting you're talking about or an urban one, it just seems to me a no-brainer that if there's an evil person intent on doing harm, maybe even murder, having to wait 5 minutes is way too long. The mass murder at the school in Connecticut, Sandy Hook, most of those kids had been murdered within about 10 minutes or less, because many of them were less than that. So not being able to defend yourself and just rely on the police to get there when you need them is unrealistic. They can't. And even more so is the case, as you point out, if you're in a rural area.
You know, Larry, one of the dumbest things, and I'm pretty blunt on this program, so if I say something you don't agree with, please jump in and correct me. But one of the dumbest things I've ever heard proposed by the left, the Feinsteins, and everybody else, oh, well, here, keep your pistol up on the shelf in this room, and keep your ammunition maybe downstairs in the basement or maybe in a front room closet. I'm not going to adhere to any frivolous, stupid law that's going to jeopardize time-wise the protecting of my family. Right. Where in the world do they come up with these concoctions?
Yeah. Well, mostly, I think, from everything I can tell, advice that you're pointing to comes from people who don't have a gun themselves.
Right.
Almost always, that's the case. And so they think they're giving advice that some kind of compromise between having a gun on you and not having a gun at all, and so they wanted in some kind of location in the house, maybe optimally in some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 poof combination type safe. But that's just not realistic, because evil doesn't usually strike when it's convenient for the victim. Evil usually strikes just exactly the opposite when you least expect it. And so if you're not prepared, it can end up very badly indeed. So the idea that the government can protect us is just not accurate. And when liberals have thought about that and realized that, in fact, one of them I came to know after a tragedy struck a couple that he knew. They had been viciously murdered on a roadside, and he had been quite against guns. He just didn't believe that that was necessary. Well, he got to thinking, well, what if I'd been in that car when evil struck? What would have happened to me?
Yeah.
And that ended up with him getting a gun, and interestingly, at least in his case, getting the gun seemed to be the statement that I'm responsible for myself, and he went from being hard left to a very articulate conservative college professor named Mike Adams.
Absolutely. Larry, let me ask you this, and I don't know how this situation is back where you live, but I am really glad to see some of the high schools. We have one right here in this area, Burley High School, that has started what they call shooting clubs and target clubs. And I think this is great for the high school students, because I think knowledge absolutely is going to be the necessity for young people to learn how to handle firearms, how to treat firearms, and how to be safe around firearms. I'd like to see more of these clubs and more of these courses taught at high schools all across the United States. What are your thoughts?
I think you are spot on. It would help counter the very dangerous message that comes from what some of the schools practice, namely zero tolerance, so that even a kid that has nibbled a Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun gets himself expelled. On the other end of the spectrum, or toward it, the other end is teachers who are armed on purpose, have passed concealed carry courses, and there are some school districts where that is the case. In Utah and Texas, Liberty University invites students who have a concealed carry permit to y'all come with that concealed carry permit. But there are schools that have these clubs that you're talking about, and when they compete and they get trophies, those are put on display so that all the students passing by the display case in one of the major hallways get to see that, oh, we have a rifle team, we have a pistol team. They were in a competition, and they came in, and they placed in some position in the competition. That, I think, is a very important teaching method to try to counter the zero tolerance nonsense that tries to convince students that, oh, well, you're better off if you don't have a gun ever. Just wait for the police to get here. And, they got to Sandy Hook, but not until about 26 people have been murdered.
Absolutely. I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to go back to the entirety of your title and talk about that. Illegal Immigration Analyst, Executive Director of the Gun Owners of America. Where do you get the tie right there with illegal immigration and your position with the gun owners?
Well, we know that illegal immigrants are not vetted by definition. They've come in illegally. There was no procedure, no process at all to check on them. And in truth, in some cases, they come from countries where there's really no country, there's no government, and you can't check on them. Well, good, then we ought to keep them out.
Absolutely.
That seems pretty straightforward. The poster girl for why we need this kind of vetting is Kate Steinle, who was shot in the back and murdered walking with her father on a wharf in San Francisco, not exactly a quote-unquote bad part of town, but an illegal alien who had violated our border 5 times already and had been deported those 5 times. Well, the 6th time he murdered Kate Steinle. And that's just a name and a face for what is a problem that occurs across the country. It's not just a border problem, because the illegals go wherever they wish in this country. Once you're in, it's no problem to travel. And so I think we've got to, in the name of public safety, insist that if you want to come to America, that's great. We want to welcome you when we know who you are and when we've had a chance to assimilate those who are already here. And then if you want to come on that basis, please do. We want to have you.
Amen. Everything you said should be etched in stone and carried off the mountain by Moses. I just wish it was that way. Larry, one of the things...
We still had Moses.
Amen. But one of the issues that I want to get into this morning, and it scares me. Honestly, I'm 69 years old, and I'm scared of MS-13. I'm scared of this gang. I'm scared of how violent these kids are coming up from El Salvador. And Attorney General Jeff Sessions has said, we're going to get them, and we're going to get rid of them. What are your thoughts?
Well, I hope he is able to identify who they are and to carry out what he has said. Because they are dangerous. Their right of initiation, I understand, involves murdering somebody, anybody, as a way of entry into the gang. These people need to be shot first if we can't deport them first. They're very dangerous. They're like wild animals, and the only way you can control them in their state of mind is to show them that they're not going to be tolerated, and they're going to be dead if they act in the way that they have been heretofore. They're not willing to get a job and work like anybody else in this country, or actually, since they're here illegally, most of them, I think, we don't even need to worry about them getting a job. We need to get them out.
Absolutely. We've got a caller with a question, Larry. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air. Quickly.
Well, with the influx of illegals, whether or not they're immigrants, legal, I guess you could call immigrants from the Middle East, or illegals from South America, they bring the same kind of death to us and our families. And, when you are defending yourself in your home and you use, deadly violence or deadly force with an arm, with a gun, and then they're the victim, and you're in court, and it turns into a hell of a mess, and you say, well, this isn't the way America used to be. These kinds of situations are a hell of a mess, and what do we do? Because we have a right to defend our property and our family. I'll hang up.
Larry, respond to the caller, please.
Well, he's put his finger on something that's a problem in too many jurisdictions, where there's a hostility to those who defend themselves.
Right.
And I think that, and it's the problem's even worse. I've read about the situation in Twin Falls, where a 12-year-old girl was repeatedly raped by some equally young boys, and the reaction of the police and the media was just to say, oh, well, just nothing to see here, just keep on walking. So I think we have to have a concern about victims. Kate Steinle was a victim in part because we don't seem to have any concern about illegal aliens and what they do. And at the same time, I believe we need to say more about the need for people to own a firearm and know how to use it, have a concealed carry permit, although in Idaho you don't need a permit. Just get your gun and carry it so that if you're attacked, God forbid, you have at least a chance to fight back.
Absolutely. Larry, I'm out of time, but I've got to ask you, please, to come back in the not-too-distant future. I've got a lot more questions I need to ask you. You're a straight shooter.
Do it, and folks can find us in the meantime at gunowners.org. We'd love to have them get our free email alerts. It's how we put the heat on Congress.
I would love to pass that along, and I will. Illegal immigration analyst, executive director of Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Come back soon.
Oh, thanks for having me. I look forward to being with you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We're going to have another segment with him, if I can set it up, next week. There's a lot of things that I want to ask about, and I'm sure a lot of callers would like to ask him. You've probably seen him on television many, many times on the various networks on behalf of the Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt. And we'll have him back hopefully towards the end of next week if I can get it all put together. Oh, I've got to get a weather forecast on here right now, and the weather is brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarromeats.com. Now listen to this. They've got what they call the tax return meat package, only $249 plus tax for approximately 57 pounds of beef and pork and chicken. Oh, it is delicious. And be sure and check out all the breakfast sausage and the bratwurst, everything. Boy, it is good. Scarro's Meats, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
All right, Zeb, grab out the sunscreen because we are looking at a beautiful day today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Sunny skies, high of 80. We're expecting an overnight low of 50. Winds out of the southeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tomorrow, even better, mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit on the breezy side, but a high of 85. Overnight low of 53 for Saturday. Wind's going to be picking up out of the southwest, right around 15 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies. Sunny and 75 is what they're saying. Overnight low of 45. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies. High of 70. Be happy. That's your weather on Zeb at the Ranch.
Sunny and 75. Oh, boy, that sounds good. Weather forecast brought to you by Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. As I said, the number 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Scarro's Meats. All right, I got time for a couple of calls. Give me a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Saturday, Kentucky Derby, and did a little research thanks to my lovely bride. Little info facts about the great Kentucky Derby. It is called the Run for the Roses because the winner is awarded a 40-pound blanket made of more than 400 roses. And did you know that the smallest field that they ever had run in the Kentucky Derby was way back in 1892? They only had 3 horses entered in the Derby that year. This year, I believe, unless there's been any scratches since yesterday, 21 are going to go into the starting gates for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. And like I said, I am pulling for a horse that probably doesn't have a snowball's chance in the oven of doing anything in the Kentucky Derby. Right now, the odds are 40-1 against him, and his name is Patch. And the reason I'm going for Patch is because he's not just an underdog. He's fighting against a physical challenge. He only has one eye. And it's his right eye that he has, and his left eye that's to the rail, he can't see anything. So he's really got a disability there. But he's going to be in the Run for the Roses on Saturday against 20 other horses, and I'm pulling for Patch. Go, Patch, go. Go, Patch, go. That's going to be my mantra for Saturday. Anyway, the big Kentucky Derby. While I have just a moment, I also want to remind you about our dear friends and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And you know, you need to ask them about their free pre-trip safety check. I got to say that again just so that I can. Free pre-trip safety check. There you go. It includes a visual inspection of your tires, and including the air pressure and your wheel alignment for tire wear, the front end components, the brake components, the shocks and struts. They just kind of get down and eyeball everything for your driving safety. And don't forget, they've got all the tires for your pickups and SUVs and your cars and your horse trailers and your boat trailers, everything, and all the different tread designs. They really know tires, because at Les Schwab, doing the right thing matters. You stop in and see them today. 7 great locations serving you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, you got a big weekend planned? I do. We're going to spend all of it or most of it outside, enjoying a absolutely fantabulous weekend weather-wise. I do want to remind you that Saturday on May 6th is also Russell Smith's birthday. And if you haven't sent up a card or anything, please, why don't you think about sending one up? Maybe call and get the email up there. Russell Smith, a great hero, 3 times recipient of the Purple Heart, is going to be 92 years old on Saturday. And he's living now at the Idaho State Veterans Home at 1957 Alvin Ricken Drive, room 70 in Pocatello. The number 83201 is the zip code, I should say. So if you have just a moment, maybe sit down, type an email, get something up to him, and wish Russell Smith, a dear friend of ours and a great patriot, a very happy birthday. Going to run and enjoy the weekend. I'm going to go outside on my sun deck right now and have a nice, cool iced tea. And we certainly hope your weekend is great. Be careful out there. And remember, we'll be back here at Monday at 8:06, Zeb at the Ranch, where we always tell you the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless.